Hello. How are you
How are
doing?
you?
I'm
It's been a
good.
trillion billion years.
Yeah, it's been so long. It's crazy. What's new?
Well, this is new. I'm doing a
Yeah,
little
this is new.
podcast. This is the first time we're doing a podcast. Well, I'm doing a podcast and hosting, so Julie, thank you for coming on. I don't want it to be like I have an audience and I'm speaking, more so like a conversation. So if I start doing that,
I'll restart if
just let it
it's
go.
if
Yeah, how
that's
we do it. Yeah.
like we
So
just
yeah,
need
how
it
have
to
you
be
been?
raw.
What's life with Julie like now in
Life with Julie.
2024?
Yeah, I mean, 2024 has been a ride. It's honestly like I'm a bridal stylist now, so that's
That's fun.
new. It's very new since June actually. So like it's been a journey. It's really fun. I've been focusing a lot on my art and yeah, like life is different for me just because like I'm not as much in the dance scene anymore. So it's
Yeah.
a needed like pull back for me to get away from that, but like which I'm sure we'll get into and stuff too today.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But yeah, like I moved back home actually. I'm not in Toronto anymore and I'm just kind of living that like country lifestyle, like
The
home,
the
just
suburban girly.
yeah, she's a suburban girly. Yeah. It's just
You're like, that's a new one for me.
yeah. I mean it is new, but like I love it. Like, my parents are very supportive and I love being home and I live like 5 minutes from work, so it's really, really smart and still waiting to get a car, lol. But we'll figure we'll figure that out.
I actually I just got rid of my car, so I'm like no more car. Like I always was a car guy growing up,
Yeah.
so like I don't have one anymore, and now I'm like,
Oh damn.
what do I do? How do I get places?
I'm like, why
Like I'm
didn't you give it
chilling,
to
like
me? Like,
yeah,
just kidding, but
yeah.
I'll figure it
But
out.
yeah, so you said you're living at home now. Last time I remembered you were living in Toronto, right?
Yeah. So I was living with my sister for about 6 years in a condo we were sharing together. And
What
then
year was that? Do you remember?
2016 and up and so
Oh,
on.
okay, yeah, around that mark.
Around that mark anyway.
After
Like
high school.
after high school, yeah. So
Yeah.
bebe jus still
Yeah.
kicking it. But yeah, and then I moved in by myself and got a condo across the street. And, we sold my sister's condo. Well, she was living there at the time after,
Yeah.
and then I was by myself. So, and then I was working a lot in Toronto. And then during COVID, I booked, like when it was like getting out of it and stuff too, like a little bit
Yeah.
after, I booked
What a time.
Disney Zombies. So the
Yeah.
third movie came out, and now there's a fourth one. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I think they filmed
Yeah.
in New Zealand or something, but it was so cool. But yeah, so I did that and I was living by myself for a little while, I think almost like a year. And yeah, and then I realized Toronto was a lot for me, like mentally too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I enjoyed my time there. I liked what I had going on. And then I really actually started getting into art when I was like living by myself, like more
I
so into
remember you
art.
had all your art pieces on the wall next to
Yeah,
your
no,
bed
like
in your
everywhere.
little
Like,
studio.
yeah, pretty
No, that's
much.
great.
Yeah, it was
I think
like,
it's good. Sorry to cut you off. I think it's
it's
good
okay.
that like you're proud of what you do. You know, like I know people will be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, she's putting it on the wall." Like it's a lot. It's not a lot. This is what you are. This is who you are, and it's like it's an art piece. You want to put it on the wall, you put it on the wall. Also, it's
Thank
your
you.
space. So
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's nice to, especially when life gets really tough and you're like trying to figure it out. You can see what you've. Once you see what you have, you're like, you know what? That's cool. I like that. I'm proud
Yeah.
of that. And it gives
It's
you
like
like
worth
that.
it to me, you know what I mean? Like figuring it out too, even with like as an artist, it's been a journey just because at first, like I'm gonna get a little deep here. During COVID, I actually went through some mental health issues, hence why I moved back home. And I was like off social media for a year. I was not in a good place at all. And I know people can relate because like COVID was a lot on everyone, you know? So I literally needed a step back for myself, and moving back home was like the right thing to do. So I just like got into art as like therapy for me, and I didn't really think it was gonna go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, and like I
Yeah.
just, I yet again, like I don't think, like it's a side hustle for me, and I love it, and it's a passion, and I love inspiring people through it. You know what I mean? Like I get
Yeah.
inspired from my friends and other artists and people that I see online and things like day to day life things. You know what I mean? But for
Yeah.
me, it was mainly like a, help myself kind of moment, and just do it for
For
me because it
sure.
was very therapeutic. So, yeah.
Is that something you did like when you were a kid?
Yeah, so I actually
Art?
used to paint on little rocks at my grandmother's
Oh, so cute.
house. And like I literally know she had like Dan, she had a bunch of little rocks like on her driveway, and I would just go snatch them and like go like paint
You're
like
like, this is mine.
no, no, literally. Like I took like 20 of them home, and my mom was
Yeah,
like, "What
yeah,
am I gonna do with these rocks?" Like, but
yeah.
I would just paint whatever I wanted on them, and
You're
like
like, put them on the shelf. Like, what do you mean? What do you want to
no,
do
I
with them?
literally need to send you a photo of the one that I did because it's like,
Oh,
I'm like,
please
how
do.
did I do that? Like little people, little details on it, just like it was so intricate because I've always been like attention to detail for my art side, like my
Yeah.
eye and like visual eye
You're a
is
Virgo,
really
right?
good. Pardon?
Are you a Virgo?
Yes. How'd you know?
What?
Oh, relax.
Sorry. Yeah, she's a Virgo, Theo. Don't be barking, or else I kick you out.
I literally built an art studio downstairs, which is like
Yeah.
a nice space for me to get away to.
It's probably definitely a good getaway for you. But like just having everything, you wake up, have a coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all in your zone.
Now I
I would
like coffee.
I would love that.
I
Oh,
didn't
you weren't
like
a coffee
coffee
girl.
before. I like tea, and I recently discovered that I like Americanos.
Okay.
I'm like, yes, but
At,
like 5 sugars and like
no.
maple cream and whatever. So it's not really coffee, it's
Just
sugar.
the most unhealthy version of it, but we'll get there.
It's
We'll get there.
fine.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to like your art stuff, it must have been nice to take whatever was in your brain and put it in front of you.
Yeah, because there's a
I
lot
think
going on.
as a creative, yeah, well, not even a lot going on, just like you pick. I think as creatives, it's hard because like we have a reality where it's a certain way, and like it obviously can be changed into different things, but like you have a certain reality around you, and once you see that you're able to put something in front of you, I think it for me at least it becomes challenging because like, oh, I could create this, and then my brain, I'm a Gemini, so I'm a little
Oof.
I'm all over the place, but you know what I mean. Once I
Yeah.
get a taste of like, oh, I could do this, I'll like obviously the older I get, I'm more like, okay, like no, that's not realistic and stuff. But like I get a taste of like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Why can't I do this? So it's a in a way, I don't want to say it's helpful, but it's a good experience to have that, especially when like you're a little kid, you know.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
anyways, back to the
it
rocks painting.
surprises, not back to the point, back to the rocks. It
Yeah.
surprises, no, but to like, continue off of what you said, it surprises, like I surprise myself when I do something and I create something, whether it's on canvas, on a pair of boots. Like I've actually started Jules bridal shoes, like it's like
Oh, nice.
me just painting on shoes for brides, and I pretty much am doing like floral designs, or like I literally can
Yeah.
paint a dog on a shoe for you if you wanted, like anything. No, I've had brides be
I'll
like, "Can
send
you
you
do?"
my Nikes.
Yeah, no, like I'm so down. So I've been doing that, and it's been going well. Like I kind of have a lot of side hustles and like side businesses going on with like trailing off of being a bridal stylist. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So
When
it
did you
all
start doing that?
it went in June
When did you start
actually.
this year?
Yeah, in June.
Oh,
So,
nice.
funny story. My sister had an appointment at Montbijou Bride. That's the name, Montbijou.
Moby
But yeah,
Juju.
so I know I always say Montbijou.
So fitting, eh? With your name in it.
I know I had to. It means gem, like my jewel.
Oh,
So it's really
love
pretty. It's
that.
French,
Oh,
so
Drew.
very
Yeah,
fitting
yeah.
for me.
Yeah. No, literally.
But
That's funny.
so yeah, back to the story. So she found this place. They've only been in business for like under 2 years. So we've lived in Brantford growing up our whole lives. We're from Brantford, so we didn't really know about any like bridal shops in town, right? And she's getting married in August, so that's very exciting.
Nice.
So she found this Mobijou, and we went in, and it was my mom and her and I, and she ended up finding her dream dress there, and then I got hired like the next day. So I was
How
like,
did you get? How did that happen?
So I
Were you like being Jew and just funny, and then they're like, "Oh, we like you."
yeah, like I don't know. I had no intention. Like I literally just like thought to myself, I was like, this would be a cool place to work. Like I'm like, this would be really I feel like I would be really good at this. Like I love meeting people, I'm like so friendly with everyone and like helping people find like brides find their dream dress. You know what I mean? Like that is just
Hmm.
it's not just a sale point. Like it's you're relating to those people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like it's really emotional. It's a fun environment to be in too. Like we have great experiences. Like I hope that I give good experiences as a bridal
Oh,
stylist because
you probably do.
you're like I
For
know
sure.
you. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
know.
that's pretty much how it happened. And I clicked
Aw,
like I hit it off with the boss, and then she was like texting my sister. She's like, tell your sister to come bring in your resume and or her resume, and I was like, cool. Like maybe I should actually do this. So I just went in and took a shot with it, and I got hired, and here we are.
love that. With you saying that, like you could see yourself doing it. Was that like an immediate reaction, or was that like after going in and then after them asking you, like that perspective of it was like growing to that? You know what I mean?
It was growing to it because I didn't actually like I was there for my sister's appointment, right?
Hmm.
And like now being a bridal stylist, but then seeing the other side of being like the client and sitting and actually, being in on an appointment is so different. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like it's cool different. It's just really like different experiences on different
Well, you're
ends.
connecting with people. I
Yeah,
feel like you're
and
a people person, so like it makes sense hand in hand to like have someone
yeah. I mean, I
to
like to
help, and
talk.
then you're like, oh, yeah.
I like
Well,
to
you like to talk for sure, but you like at the end of the day, you like I feel like you like relationships, so like
Of
that's where
course.
you thrive in. You
Yeah,
know?
that's me. Like, I like connecting with people and like I've been talking to a lot of brides to be that are there and like connecting on like even doing couples dance lessons with them because like my boyfriend and I,
Oh, cute.
Jordan, actually
Yeah.
started doing that.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's been really
Love that.
cool. Yeah, we're doing it out of Montbijou too, so it's awesome.
In the corner.
Not in the corner. We move stuff
You
around. Go to the
like put on the
Instagram.
dress. Let's see if you can do a 1-2 step with the skirt on. Not
Stop.
skirt, dress.
But no, it's
Um,
fun because we're actually like we're getting somewhere with it. We just started, but we're helping people who really don't know how to dance at all and we're turning them into stars. Like it's like
love that.
they're just very shocked and we're even shocked, like pleasantly surprised, I should say, because by the end of it we're like, wow, like okay, we're good at our
Oh, you're
jobs,
good.
like we love this, but it's working out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Aw,
but
that's
I
great.
honestly, Dan, I love being a bridal stylist. Like it's very fitting for me. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
just it makes sense because I'm relating to everyone, and I just love being me and getting to know people. So
Yeah. I know relationships can be a challenging thing, especially like after COVID. I feel like a lot of people were taking time to themselves. They've been put in positions more so to deal with things and like, that has different outcomes and stuff.
yeah,
I have gone through. I'm sure you have. What's that been like for you, like navigating relationships?
like relationships, like romantically or
Not romantic, like just
in
is
life.
it platonic? Is that platonic? Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like
platonic. Yeah.
friendships and like mutual connections. Like how has that been for you?
I mean, in the dance scene, if I could elaborate, I find it's very hard to find like people that you can really connect and that really want the best for you,
Hmm.
because I mean, being super super straight, like everyone fiends for themselves, right? Like you want to make sure you're doing good, you're eating healthy, you're living that LA dream or this lifestyle, right? Or Toronto lifestyle, whatever, wherever you may be. But I think as long as you stay true to yourself and you can find those people that are good for you that really do want the best for you, that's what's important because I've definitely throughout COVID seen who's been there for me and who has not been there for me. And I think a lot of people can relate to that as well too. Like people
Yeah.
I know that I've spoken to, not gonna name drop anyone, but you know what it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much like I could say platonic in some ways, but in other ways, I do connect and find certain people that are there for me that have been there for me for a while. Um, so yeah, it's different. Depends, right?
Yeah. I think my perspective on that, um, we're dancers. especially like competitive dancers or whatever you are, just you grow up being taught how to perform.
Yeah.
And in some way, somewhere along the lines, that gets bled into your personality. So in some ways, yes, people
Mm.
can be authentic, but we still put on a performance. Like
Yeah.
that's our
Oh.
that's our
Yeah, yeah.
that's our nature. Like we're putting on a performance for people, whether we think we're doing it or subconsciously not. Like we're putting on a performance. So I'm there's probably people you met and you're like, what's going on? Like not in a rude way, just kind of like I can't connect with you and like I don't get it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the lines, they probably don't even get it themselves because
They're
like
still
they don't even
learning,
know.
right? Like you
Yeah,
said, yeah, like maybe they feel as though they need to put on or perform all the time because that's who they are becoming, or it's a version of themselves, you know what I mean? Kind of like just to protect the real version of themselves, underneath. So you really never know. I mean, all I can really say is you never really know what anyone's going through. So, one, like, don't judge people, right? Like,
yeah,
right away until you really know the whole story. It's kind of like when you're like in an argument with somebody and then you're like, no, he said, she said this, right? But at
yeah,
the end of the day, you don't know because, like, are you going to take that person's side just because you're hearing one side, right? I don't know. I
yeah,
like giving people like the benefit of the doubt and just hearing out things instead of being like, yes, she was right, you know?
yeah.
So,
I think for me, I don't know if you get the same thing. I think the hardest thing for me would have been is sorry, not just like taking people's word for it, just like just seeing what you see. Because I think a
yeah,
lot of times people neglect what they're seeing versus what they're told. I get like that sometimes, and it's like
yeah.
someone's saying this to me and they're doing that, and then once I step away from them, I'm here in my world and I'm looking, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like that's not.
You're
I
observing.
feel like
Yeah.
you're observing and then you're just learning about people and like the
Mm-hmm.
way that I perceive someone or take someone in is not going to be the same as somebody else.
No,
And there's
exactly.
a reason for it because like that's what works for you and that what works for me, you
It's like
know.
we're taught
So
kind of certain
yeah,
things, like you said. Yeah. So I can relate
and
to
it's like
that.
even interesting too because like dance, the dance industry and relationships, like we have teachers growing up and teaching us, and then we like somehow become friends with them. Like when you go to high school, like I know some people have these situations where like they leave high school, graduate, and they come back to school and they see their old teacher. Hey, how's it going, man? So I have you on Facebook, this and that. It's not the same as the dance world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's the people that were teaching me, and then I was teaching next to them, and they were asking me for assistance and choreographing. So like it's a whole different world, and it's kind of just like
Mhm.
it's very gray. For someone who
Yeah.
likes the grayness and it, like black and white ness of things does help. It's been a very big challenge for me because it's like so gray that you're like, wait, I'm given the opportunity to see what I want to see, but it's like, whoa, like right off the bat, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But
Like
that
growing up,
also
you're
goes.
given
Sorry. Go ahead.
no, like growing up, you're given like your foundation. Don't do this. Eat healthy. You know what I mean? Like same thing with dance. Like you have the foundation, and then it gets bled into nothing, and you're just like, oh, and then you're given your free will to do as you please, obviously, but it's like
Yeah.
it
No,
may
that's
become a
true.
challenge on the way.
That's
You
so
know?
true. I actually like. It's crazy from being younger, like younger juju dancer, you know what I mean, to like you said, having these rules and following it by like cookie cutter of like da da da, you know what I mean, like by the book. But like when you're older, it's a little bit more freedom. Like you're, talking to this person that you used to look up to, but they're talking to you like your
Yeah,
friend, and it's just like
yeah,
you're like, whoa, this is weird because you're older, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. But then
There's
it's
still that
also,
essence though of like student teacher.
yeah,
It's not a
and the
bad thing, but
respect
like
level, right?
yeah,
Like that shouldn't be lost ever, I would say. Like I don't know. Um
I I think I get what you're saying. I think the respect of what was. It's like relationships. Relationships grow and they change into what they need to be.
yeah.
Obviously, respect it for what it was, but like if we're growing to be mutual friends, then we have to treat each. It's like you growing up. Like yeah, you have a respect for your parents and stuff, but they can't keep treating you like a kid.
That's true. So
You
it
know what I
grow.
mean?
You
Like
grow
that.
with the
It goes
relationship.
hand in hand. Yeah, exactly. So 100%. There's still a respect, but it's kind of just like
It
you have to integrate
changes.
yourself.
Yeah, like the respect changes depending, because also like as you get older, people get to learn like the real you too, right? So
Yeah.
it's different. But I get
Yeah.
it.
And like sometimes they won't even like the real you, which is probably a tough thing that people have to deal with. Or
But you're
you
like,
know
I
what I
don't
mean? Like
care.
you're like, oh, I don't.
I'm still gonna be me,
But you know what I
whatever.
mean? It's and then some people hold on to that. You know, this is my
Yeah,
teacher, and then they stay in this la la land of like I look at you a certain way, but I'm not being treated a certain way anymore because I'm older.
yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean? I
true.
think people might have a hard time with that.
Yeah,
So
no, I agree with that too. I just definitely think it goes back to like staying true to yourself and what makes sense for you in your life, and you can't compare. Like I know people say this all the time, but like and we all get, like you probably as well, get in your head about comparing to this person's life or that person's life, but then again, it's just be happy for everyone, be happy for them, and no
yeah,
bad blood, clean slates, you know, drop it like it's hot.
yeah.
Okay, we're
So
good.
going into like teacher relationships and stuff, like you worked with Bobby Newberry, you need to tell me how that started, because I know like when I would go to jump and he was there, you were like came with him,
Yeah,
hey guys,
I remember. It's all
groups,
coming
and then
back to
Kate,
me.
Julie, you know what I mean? And I think I met you the year before at the MMVA's. We did Avril together.
Yeah, we
So when
did.
I saw
Yeah,
you, I'm like, I know
singing
Jew.
Radiohead at the top of our lungs.
We'll get into that,
Yeah,
but
throwback,
yeah, like
throwback.
what? How did that even start with you and Bobby?
So it's funny because obviously I was a huge convention kid growing up, like
Mm-hmm.
Monsters of Hip Hop, Pulse on tour, Coastal Dance Rage, like Jump.
Sorry, before you go on, was that something that your studio did or you did yourself?
I did. I did.
Okay.
So I had some teachers tell me about some conventions and be like, you need to be out there more. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I found them with my mom or something. I don't know. It's hard to remember. So many years ago.
You got into the space pretty much independently in a way,
Yes, yes,
not
yeah,
with
you
your
could say that.
teachers next to you. Yeah.
But yeah, so touching on this, I'm glad you asked because he, like, literally, so I'm pretty sure it was Coastal Dance Rage. Could have been Toronto, Ottawa. I used to travel a lot for conventions, as you know. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing, I think it was either Diva or what's the telephone one? Lady Gaga or something? I don't know.
Telephone.
Yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
video phone.
Oh no, yeah, video phone. I can
Phone.
hit that one. Yeah. Anyway, so I was like in the crowd doing my thing, whatever, dancing, and then he stopped like the music and stopped and pointed, literally pointed at me, and
Is
you're
this when
that.
you had your bob hair?
Not yet, not yet. I don't
Oh,
think I
not
had the bob
yet.
yet. You remember the days.
You're
Those
like,
were the
yeah,
days. But yeah,
yeah,
so
100%.
he pointed, and when you like someone points at you, you're that kid that's like turning around. You're like, wait, it's not me, And then
I feel like if
everyone's
it
like,
was me, I
it's
would have been
you.
like, me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not me. Okay.
No,
I would have been opposite.
you were no.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so I was like, oh my gosh, he pointed to me, and then I think he was like, come up on stage or something, and ever since then, like, we just connected and we clicked, and that was like he's watched me grow up with dance. Like I
Mm.
think I was probably like 9 or 10, and then he had held Bobby's Beat Camp in LA at the W Hotel. So
Was that with Break the Floor,
yeah, I think so.
right?
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
dance summit and all that stuff?
Yes, yes, yes. Like
Oh, okay.
Kenny Wormold and all of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
were doing it too. Yeah. So, and then I had like worked my way up to assisting him because he would be like, I see you everywhere, right? And like I pull you out, and you're so good, and blah blah blah, right? So I started assisting him at Jump, and like I got in with Blake as well, Blake McGrath, and we were like all really tight. It was so funny. Like I used to go
Yeah.
over to Blake's house sometimes and like
Oh,
just hang out and whatnot. Like it was really cool. They're like super
yeah,
down to earth people, and like I love them. But yeah, dancing with Bobby is like has been one of the best things in my life
for
for
sure.
sure. Just
Yeah.
because he's such an amazing person, like working with him, and like we dance so well together. Like we're like two girls just having fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
literally,
yeah. I know.
he's awesome. And
You once you hit the stage, you're in that world.
we're in
It
that
just
zone
clicks,
together.
and then
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, like it clicks, and it's really magical, you know? Like
Yeah.
he's an amazing person. Like I said, he's super super down to earth and so real, and I think that's why we really connected about a lot of things too, right? Like despite
Hmm.
an age difference and whatnot, but like we still like I it's always like you said, this is a perfect example, like teacher student kind of relationship, but still being like good friends, you know?
Yeah.
So and like
That
that
balance
respect
of
is
it.
still there, but
Yeah.
like we connect, you know. So it was just yeah, it
Yeah.
was awesome, and I did that. I did that for quite a few years.
Yeah. I was
Just
gonna
trying to
say.
think. It's I don't know the timeline here, but
Were you doing it after high school too?
yeah, because I was doing a
Yeah.
lot
Right.
with Monsters of Hip Hop, so
Mm.
I know. Oh, eating my
I've never
hair.
been to that.
Um,
I never
really?
did any of those. Yeah.
Never.
Well, honestly, like the only time I went to workshops was because my studio like said we had to go, and
So
we would
so
like
you were
just
like, I
jump.
have to be there.
Yeah, like it wasn't. We weren't like I love dancing, so I love the workshops, but there wasn't anything outside of going myself or doing it.
Oh wow,
Not
I
by
didn't know that.
choice, not by not. It just wasn't. I
You
don't know.
weren't. It wasn't your thing, maybe, or you were just like, I have to go because my studio's going, like you
I
said,
don't
right?
honestly. I don't even. It just wasn't a consideration. Not something that was. I didn't want to think about. It just wasn't part of our programming. Like we went to the dance studio, we went to jump, and then we had choreo. Like that's the world that I had only. Because
Mm,
Art and Soul went to some of the workshops, but they started going like I feel like everyone started really going, especially like smaller studios, probably like 2015, 2016, 2014 even.
no,
That's when
that
it
sounds
started being
right.
like more, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I left after grade 11, so that was 2014. So I was right when I was about to leave, that's when I started actually going frequently. Because then we would go to the Buffalo one and stuff. But like, yeah, I never been to
I feel like
Monsters.
you would have loved Monsters of Hip Hop. Like it's still going on. It's still an amazing. I mean, they're all like literally monsters, like in the
Yeah,
best way. You know what I mean? Like not raw monsters, but like they're beasts. Like it's just crazy the
yeah,
people that they get there, and like I'm so lucky to have been and like grateful to have known like the people that I know and to have assisted certain choreographers, well, all the choreographers really. Like
yeah.
it's been, yeah, that was a really cool time in my life for sure.
Beyond like the experience of having that,
Hmm.
if we could jump to something that's more like on an ego thing, how do you think that affected you growing up when you go to a space and you have someone that's like holding you up here,
Hmm.
and then you go into other spaces where you don't have that security of walking in? You know what I'm saying? What has there been a challenge on a emotional and mental level when you enter spaces like that?
I mean, yeah, I have to think back, um, just because like
And I don't mean asking you in a way that comes off like you're cocky. It's just like it's
no, no,
just a
no, I
genuine
know,
thing because like
yeah.
people imagine like being center stage of dances for like a few years and all of a sudden this new girl comes and you're never on the side. Like you don't know any better. You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah,
what you're used to. So like when you get
yeah.
things taken away or you enter spaces where it's not the same as that, what has your experience been and what's your learning lesson from that if you can recall?
I mean, I by no means am cocky in any way, and you know this, but like I feel like for me, like maybe because I'm shorter. Like growing up, I was literally always the smallest person. So like my
Hmm.
teachers would always put me in the center, like front. You
Okay.
know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? So
Visually,
like
it looks better.
visually, yeah, and I understand that as a choreographer as well too. You know what I mean? Like having my fair share
Yeah.
of moments as a choreographer. So I definitely get like visually it needs to be pleasing, but I would say like I don't know, I've always had moments where like I knew people in the room and they knew me, but I never relied on that. Like if I'm thinking convention based level, I didn't rely on, oh, because um so and so
It
is
felt good seeing
teaching.
them.
Yeah, but I never said like in my head because so and so is teaching, I'm gonna get pulled up on stage. Like I didn't care about that. You know what I mean? Like to me, like I'm also one just to know something about me. Like I've never been a competitive person. Like I didn't care about competition. Like I, in a way, it's nice to be
Between
like
people,
yeah,
you're
like
saying?
I just like one time when I was younger, I messed up on purpose on stage because I wanted to be friends with the other girl that was competing against me. Like, I literally, my teacher was like, you can't do that. Like,
You're like,
me
I'm gonna do what I
being,
want.
no, me being a little juju and just making friends with everyone and like having a big heart and caring about people. Like, I always wanted to be friends with everyone, and I didn't realize, like, at the time, okay, not everyone wants to be friends with you, maybe, and not everyone wants the best for you because maybe they are more competitive or they are more like this, or you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
either way, like, just to put it more into perspective, like, when I one time won, like, a first place award, I gave my trophy to, like, a little girl that didn't win. Like,
So cute.
I like, to me, I'm like, it's just a dust collector. Like, I literally have
Yeah.
trophies downstairs and I don't know what to do with them anymore. Like, I don't put them in like a case and like enclose them, you know, like teach their own. But
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person, like, I didn't, like, there is healthy, like, competition, you know, and people, but in a way I
And
would
healthy
say,
recognition.
yeah, word, amen. But
Yep.
I feel like I like being pushed by other people that are like, when I used to go to Monsters, I used to be like, wow, how would I get up on stage one day and do that? You know, like, I looked at them like gods. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
Yeah.
this is insane, but like it gave me motivation to want to work harder. So like I
Yeah.
was hungry, like my work ethic, I'm hungry to be like up there too one day if that could happen for me, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it
No, I
is,
love that.
yeah.
It's good because even like what you said about being in the front, I've had moments where I was always in the front because I was a guy. Like I know some studios don't do that, but that's just what we did.
Yeah.
And like I've always loved the dance space and all that. I had times where I was questioning myself though. I'm like, am I actually good or am I just put in the spot because
Mhm.
I'm a guy? I'm just like I'm a very purpose driven kind of person,
Yep.
obviously to the littlest things, and sometimes that's my own detriment, obviously.
Same.
But I think about that, and then obviously it in a way it was a little bit of a spiral because I'm just like just different concepts in my head came up, and I'm like, well, what about this moment? What about that? Like it
Mhm.
really tore me up, and then like a few moments later, I was like, I forgot about it, and then I just kept doing my thing.
Like
That's
it's,
just how I am. But like
yeah.
it gets a lot because I was just like, oh,
It
that could be
plays with
something.
you a little bit. Like it plays
Yeah,
on your
it's my
thoughts and
curiosity because I'm like, oh, I mean, it does keep me in check in a way. It's kind of just like, you know,
yeah.
it's a humbling thing to be like, no, I'm not good all the time. I don't put a front with that.
Mhm.
If people ever feel like I'm putting a front on that, I'm genuinely just confident in the way I walk in a room. Like that's
Yep.
just how I am. But like I've always thought about that. Like,
Like how does it come
okay,
off kind of thing?
not how it comes off. Just like the experience of being center all the time, and then
Yeah. I mean,
when
I
off because I asked you that about being off stage. Sometimes I would come off stage, and it's like I have some situations I have to work for it more,
yeah.
and I wasn't used to that. Some can say that's my fault. Some can say that's not because that's my environment. You know what I mean? But I just came off, and then I was just like, oh,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
you know
I
what I
know what
mean?
you mean. Yeah.
I just got used to being one thing and then the other, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Then you
It
saw
wasn't
both
like anything
sides.
bad. Yeah, well, that was a lesson for me to understand that and also understand the behind the scenes, the backside of it. You know, so
It's kind of
that's
like,
my experience.
yeah. I mean, thanks for sharing for that because I like hearing that. But I kind of relate to it as like you've been on film sets before, right? So kind of like,
Yes, yeah, I have, just not to the full extent of how many times you probably have or other people, but like I've had an experience for
okay,
sure.
but you can
Yeah,
like understand what I'm saying with like being in front of the camera or being behind the camera, right? Because
yeah,
it's like two separate things from your, like, I don't want to say like the celebrity, but you're like an important person when you're being filmed, you know what I mean? Like in front
yeah.
of the camera,
Main
and it's a
character
main
versus
character, yeah.
background.
And
Yeah,
it's different from being behind the scenes, but it's also like your job is just as important, you know, because I've
yeah,
been on both ends and I'm like, okay, like it's different, but it's, you're important too. Like you're still a main character.
Yeah.
you know?
No, 100%.
So,
I agree 100% with that. It's just sometimes it's like going between both, figuring
yeah.
out what situations call for main character and what other situations call for no, just sit down and write. You're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
That goes
true.
into dance and everything work
In
wise. Like
life.
that's what I found myself getting into. But yeah, it's just been interesting.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But going to the film stuff, you've what films have you done? You've done
I did.
zombies. You've done. Did you do Sneakerella?
No, wait. Yes,
No,
I did.
you did, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is. I'm like, let me pull up my resume
2021,
for a
I
second.
think that's when they did it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Sneakerella. I did Country Crush. It was really cute. Like it's a country. I was with Madeline Merlot, who's like a huge country artist now. She's popping off. She's awesome. And then Monroe Chambers. He was from Degrassi. I just remember him because I was like, he's cute. But
I'm not really like I watch stuff, but I'm not really like a film. Like if you tell me actors, I only know them if they've been in like big films, and even
unless
then,
I
like
pull
I
up a
don't watch.
photo, you'd probably be
Yeah,
like,
maybe for
maybe,
sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did Country Crush. I did Sneakerella. I did all three of the Disney Zombies movies, and Suicide Squad, and that was with Will Smith, Margot
You were in
Robbie.
that?
Yeah, people are like, "Where's the
Wait.
dancing in that?"
Yeah, that part. But also, I see. I don't watch movies, but that one time my friend said, "Let's go." I'm like, "Fine." So we went to go watch it. I don't remember the whole movie, but what part was it? Do you
First of
remember?
all, the movie's not great. Let's just say, because I spoke to so many people after, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "I
I
know."
like the soundtrack. I
The
downloaded the
soundtrack
soundtrack
is
after.
cool. Yeah, let's at least give that.
Gangster.
But
And
yes,
Lamborghini, something Lamborghini. But
yeah,
anyways,
something. Yeah, we want a Lamborghini.
purple Lamborghini, Skrillex,
Oh yes,
and
yes,
Rick
yes, yes.
Ross.
I love Skrillex.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that, and I was on it for a month and a half, and I was in the club scene. I was painted gold head to toe in like 6-inch heels in like a
Oh,
cage.
more so background.
Like, well, yeah, that part, and then I worked
Prop
close.
background.
Go dancer. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they like cut all my scenes anyway that I was like in it.
That's so
but
annoying.
like I was like, whatever,
That's
it's
so
fine. It
annoying.
was cool. It's an experience. And we got to like work really close with Margot Robbie. She's really, really awesome. She was like
Oh yeah.
super, super cool, like just super sweet. And again, like, I relate to down to earth, like celebrities,
Yeah.
peoples, because to me, they're just people, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's just how I feel. But anyway, and then we got to meet Will Smith, which was really cool. We like worked out in his gym. It was awesome. We shook his
really?
hand. Yeah. Oh, Viola Davis is in that one too, right?
Was she
Like,
the lead? She the leader? I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't.
Of,
Yes,
like,
the
the
leader
work
or something,
people, the
like
leader.
taking
Yeah,
care
yeah,
of the pack or the crew,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want to call it, the gang.
The
Anyway,
gang.
but I just remember her being in it because it was her birthday, and like we celebrated with like Thai food and a cake at like 4 a.m. I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Where did you record it?
in Toronto.
Oh, it was in Toronto.
Yeah, but yeah.
That certain scene or most of it?
So that was at this club called Cube in Toronto.
Oh my god, no, it wasn't. So it's the Luna now, I think.
Oh yeah, it's
right?
probably
Yeah.
different now. So it's
Yeah.
like
Oh my
years
god,
ago.
Cube.
But yeah, Cube.
That place.
I've never been, so I was like, I'm not like I wasn't a clubber, so I didn't really
Club
go
girl.
there. But and then I was in a scene with like the ending scene where Cara Delevingne turns into a witch and she grows,
Oh,
and
yeah.
well, she already is a witch, whatever. Anyway, I don't know the whole story, but
Just so those
yeah.
two parts.
Yeah, and we like got to work really close with her, and like I was in like a prosthetics too, and we had a stunt scene where it was like we had to get sprayed with like 16 fire truck hoses mounted to a wall. We were dancing for like 2 minutes.
Oh
Like it was insane because it was also freezing, and I remember one time running out because I didn't hear my music, so I just ran out in my prosthetic outfit. Like I literally, I'm gonna send you a photo of it because it looked so crazy and like gross but cool. But I ran out and I was watching everyone, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be in that. Oh my god, like I was freaking out.
Oh my god, no.
I missed the cue.
Did they know it is?
I just because we had like this full like head suit on, like it was like rubber prosthetic, like bubbles, like a black stuff on it with like goggles that we had to wear and stuff because the water and whatnot, you know. And I couldn't
Mm.
hear like everything. I just heard like fire shots and gunshots, whatever, because it was a fight scene happening and we were doing this and we were dancing and you
Yeah.
know. And I ran out and I was looking at everyone struggling because they were like, oh, like it was just like so, because the
Oh my
fire
god.
truck
Yeah, yeah.
water, but. It, all in all, it was such a cool experience. Like any experience on set is so different and so unique just because like you see the background of how movies are made, you know? And then you see the final product
So
and you're
many,
like,
so many
oh,
people, so many people.
it takes an army for movies.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool. I love it.
Especially for like little scenes too. You'd be like, there's some. I think I would watch some bloopers of like movies and stuff, and like it would be like one scene. They have all these things for like 30 seconds if
Yeah.
it gets put in the movie, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
I
That
know.
budget is probably so huge.
Yeah, movie budgets are crazy.
Um, Going on film, not really
Mhm.
film, but we both were at the MMVAs, and it's funny how you brought up how like you were the gold thing you did all of that, and you're like I didn't even get some of the cuts and scenes
Yeah.
part of it. I remember when we did the MMVAs. First off, I'm gonna vent a little bit because it was a little bit annoying because we went in with the intention of having 8 people. I don't know if you remember this. It was 8 people getting chosen. Luther Brown was choreographing,
Yep.
and that's it. We get in for the audition. We did our thing, groups. We get chosen, and then we get another email saying, "Oh, there's 12 people. Luther
Oh,
Brown's still
yeah.
choreographing." Do you remember? There were so many different layers
It's
to
coming
it.
back to me now that you're saying
Yeah,
it.
so Luther, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to rehearsal hall. It's in this random place. There's like 20 of us.
Oh yeah.
And then these 2 gay guys. Luther Brown's not. I think that they were still saying he's
Luther was
coming.
not there, no?
And they're like, yeah. We had like remember, it was like a fake stage. It's like in one of those industrial buildings where they do like practice shows and stuff.
I swear
don't know
I
if you
thought it was
remember.
freestyle though, no? Because you had like a section
Yes,
where
but
you
it was
danced.
supposed to be choreographed. You remember?
Yeah,
They
but
kept telling us.
oh yeah.
They kept saying it's choreographed, so we get there to practice, and they're like, so you guys are going to come here, we're just going to wave our hands like this, and then you guys go this way, we'll break it off.
Yep.
And then we were just like,
You're
oh.
like, oh.
So we're
Cool.
improving. Okay, that's fine, whatever. At the MMVAs, this is my first time doing something like this, so I'm like excited. We get to the practice, and I remember we were waiting. I remember actually they posted our videos on YouTube.
Yes,
So
our
while we were
audition
waiting,
videos.
we
They're
were all
still
I remember
there, Dan.
they're still there.
Mine
I got
is-
like 1,000 views. My dad was with me. He's like, "Oh my god, they got it." I'm like, "I know, it's crazy."
Literally.
So we're all waiting, and they're like, "Yeah, Luther Brown's not choreographing, so we're just gonna do this and that." And we're like, "Okay." And then also like the pay, we were supposed to get like $800, went to 500, 200,
Yeah.
all that
yeah.
stuff. Anyways, I remember we had a rehearsal on stage, and they showed us after, and I was like in all the frames. I went, "Okay, let's go!" Like I'm telling people to watch, and they're gonna see me. I got so excited, so I'm like, "Great!" Like I don't need to be. I don't need to be sad. At least if you see me.
You started,
That's good
right?
enough.
Like on the stairs or something coming out? Like there was like a section where like you were in that group.
Were we together?
What?
I don't know if you remember. There was like a cylinder thing at the corner, and I came down the stairs.
Yes. That's what I'm
Yes.
talking about. Yeah.
That was yeah. But we all came out at the same time, but they saw us first.
Oh yeah.
So
True.
so I'm doing the show, and we had the thing, the smokers, the colored smokers. Do you remember those? We popped
but
it off, and
I
the
don't
color
think
went
I
off.
got to use the colored smoker.
Well, you didn't, but I did, and I was excited because I was at the front. I'm like, hey, people
Yeah,
are gonna
well,
see
that's
me.
a moment.
We saw the video. You could not see me at all. Anytime when they showed the dancers wide, the smoke was covering us, and all you saw was Avril. So,
Oh yeah, wait.
my
I'm
takeaway
remembering,
from
I'm
that,
picturing it.
yeah, like
Oh,
I
yeah,
just,
that sucked.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
need anything like that. I was just like, what the fuck? Like we went
Yeah.
from A to Z and other alphabet letters, and you know what I mean. And we're just like, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
I remember
know.
like everyone was so excited to tune in for me. I was telling everyone in high school, and then after that, like less than half the people I told were saying congrats because no one else saw me.
Because that was, what was that, 2013 when we did that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in grade
Wow.
10.
That was so
And on
long
top
ago.
of that, I was so bad at math.
Same.
The day that I got the email saying I'm in the MMVAs, my dad texted me. I went on my phone. I looked at my phone. I'm like, yo, like I'm gonna be on the MMVAs. My teacher comes up to me. He's like, give me your phone. And I'm like, oh. He's like, by the way, you're failing, and I'm calling your dad tonight. I went.
No.
Thank you.
No.
So, yeah, great. I had the experience. Just like getting there was a lot for me.
I mean, yeah, hello. I can relate to math because I like had to push myself to do really good and get like an 80. Like I was like, come on,
Yeah,
girl.
but it was just so funny because I was just like, I'm getting this opportunity, and it's not the opportunity I was told. My life is kind of shit right now in school. Like I'm getting like I remember
Yeah.
waiting to go in a rehearsal. My mom's on the phone getting mad at me, like you need to focus more on school.
Oh,
And
and
I'm
you're
just
so
like,
excited about you're about to dance forever.
I
Like,
wasn't excited because I was getting in trouble, and then I'm walking into saying we have to improv, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I know. I mean, I literally felt the same way too, being like, wait, we have to freestyle. Like I was like, huh? Because I think Kevin did that with us too, right? That job. He's on tour with Taylor Swift now, right? Kevin
Kevin.
Scheitzbach or however you say his last name. I'm pretty sure
I'm
Kevin
blanking.
was beside me with it too. Because we were up on like a pedestal thing, and I was just literally doing this, like waving my hands the whole time.
I'm trying to remember Kevin.
You know Mike and Kevin, the brothers.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, he was.
He was, and now he's on
100%,
tour
yeah.
with Taylor Swift or something. Like I don't know.
And another reason why people in Toronto are moving away from Toronto.
Yeah.
Because stuff like that, you get an opportunity. And I know things changed, but like, you went from having a choreographer to 12 people to 25 people.
It's
and
not what you
improving with
think.
Smoke.
Yeah.
I get it, things change, but like,
Yeah.
and then you go to LA and they have like actual, they don't even do the MMVAs anymore here.
I know,
You know what I
they
mean?
don't. It's so sad. Like they don't do
It's
nothing.
so sad. Like, but like, everyone's going away. Like, even now, people are going into London.
UK, yeah. Like people
Yeah,
are
like they're not. It's everything's just going away. Like, part of me had not an idea, but I was just thinking like, how can we like bring talent back to Toronto? How can Toronto be a big thing? But it's just not where the big productions are,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
which is annoying.
I agree. Like I feel like the scene, I don't know. I don't keep up as much with like the dance scene anymore in Toronto. So like if you can tell me how that's like now, I just feel like it's like gone from here to here, because people are
I don't
moving
know.
away.
Well,
I don't know.
everyone moved away. I'm not really part of that. I see it.
Yeah.
Like I'll go in for classes once in a blue moon,
Mm-hmm.
and even then when I go in, it just kind of
It's different.
I was like, oh.
It's changed.
Well, honestly, I didn't really take much classes growing up. I would just go to conventions and like do my thing. I was like in my own programming in a way, but like I never did that. But like hearing about it and seeing the differences, it's very like. Well, I think the goodness of it, there's more people allowed to do different things, and there's more different groups that people can connect with and do, and everything's just more open
Mm-hmm.
compared to before. Just like this is like our panel. It's pretty much the panel. Anywhere you go, some people will come up and be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it was pre-COVID, and now post-COVID is kind of just like everyone's allowed to do what they want.
Wait,
Good
so
or
you
bad.
never went up to like Toronto and take like Leon's classes or Lenny's classes?
No.
Like, never?
I did. I can count actually on my hand probably how many classes I've taken. I did
Really?
Aaron Waltman at OIP.
Oh, I remember.
OPI?
those days.
OIP? Is it OIP?
Yeah,
See, I don't
OIP.
remember.
I used to think
did-
it was OPI, but that's the nail polish, so I always
Yeah.
remember because I'm like, OIP.
OIP. Yeah. I did Tati's class one time.
Yes. One time? Because she used to teach like weekly, Like my sister and I would trek to go to Toronto when we lived at home to go take her classes because we loved her classes.
I wasn't really a class guy. I don't know.
I feel like, yeah, I may have seen you like once in her class. And
I
like,
don't think you saw me. You probably saw a video I posted.
yeah, I definitely did video.
But even just going to that for me, growing up, like I did like taking the classes, but for me growing up, I always wanted to create. Like I
Mhm.
remember growing up and I would have dance. I did dance because it was the closest thing I could get to and do.
Mhm.
Like I always wanted to be the choreographer. I always wanted to choreograph. Like I was the kid that would have an idea in his head, I figure out a way how to download an editing software legally and edit music. I had an idea in my head. I
Really?
cut songs. Like my MP3 was more edits than actual music.
No
Like that was my
way.
world. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, I didn't know
100%. That
this.
was
That's so
that's
cool.
my thing. So like I always did that in my head, and like even in grade 8, what was it? Grade 6, I quit dance. I was over it.
Mm.
We had a talent show. I went to the audition and I just improv'd. They liked me. I was a dancer, and then I choreographed in my basement. I edited the song. I had the costume from like my dance costume from before.
Amazing.
Put it together, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get back into dance. Did that, and then I remember in grade 8, they had a dance team that they just started, and it was my friends running it.
So you were
I
on
had
it.
to audition. So I
You had to
auditioned,
audition?
whatever. We started. Yeah, I had to audition. I didn't say anything. I just auditioned. I knew I was gonna get in, but anyways, I digress. I remember the first day we started, they all went. They looked at me. I'm like, okay, let's go. I had like 5 different cuts. Like that's always been my world. So like when I stopped dancing, I wanted to choreograph. I wanted to be a dance teacher because like that's what I liked and wanted to do. Like that's just always been my facet.
That was right
you know?
for you.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So like you going to the like me you saying like I love the workshop. I did love the workshops. I wanted to be the teacher on the workshop versus taking the class.
So you were more
You know,
interested of like, okay, how do
the leadership of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I've
Yeah,
always loved that. Always liked that. You know, that's been my world. Literally, so like I remember at my old house, we had a sunken living room. I had a CD player. I would play music, and the step down was like the stage. So it was in the foyer of the house. So I would back up, and I played the song, and I was the performer on the stage dancing.
I love
little
that.
little 6-year-old Daniel. So like that's always been.
So it's
Me,
always
in a
been
way.
what you wanted to do too. So
Yeah.
But you teach
And then I get
now
into.
too, right?
Well, I stopped that.
You stopped that too.
It was just COVID. Honestly, COVID was very. I remember like teaching. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to do this
like on Zoom and stuff too.
on
like
Zoom.
that's-
Like I knew it was just Zoom. I sucked it up. But even
Yeah.
after that, when we were back in the studio, I was like, oh my god, like that was just my experience. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience. You don't teach at all anymore.
I actually am teaching at a studio next week on Wednesday in Toronto,
Oh, yeah?
but I just do because I might choreograph for them. But I just do like I want to do more drop-ins, but it doesn't make sense for me like teach drop-in classes, but it doesn't make sense right now because I'm in Brantford, so traveling all the way to Toronto like it wouldn't
Yeah.
like financially make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unless I was getting like compensation for like transportation, but
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I miss it. It's just
There's big studios there now. I'm not trying to say there wasn't any big studios, but I feel like a lot of the kids on the west side of the GTA have been more integrated with, like you know, Vaughan and Brampton. You know what I mean? Those kind of studios, and like the culture is all like everyone goes to the workshops now.
Yeah, I mean,
Like back
I'm
in the day, people wouldn't go to workshops.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in teaching like more intensives. Like that's what I'd want to do in the summer for sure. Just because like at the bridal shop too, like I had the summer times there, like I've had to experience it, and like it's not as busy sometimes in the summer, so I would make myself busier with like teaching and stuff too, and still like being able to do. I don't know. I do a lot of different things all over the place. Like
Well, I feel like it's your sense of community again.
Yeah.
No? Like
It
what
is,
you grew up in. I love doing. You said you love doing this, so like the fact that you can be the facilitator of that is like more fulfilling, I would say, for you. No.
100%. And I like being able to do like that, this, you know what I mean? Like so many different things that just make sense and align with who I am as a person, that I'm still being artistic and it still makes sense. Like me doing my shoes and then being a bridal stylist and then still creating art on like jackets, boots, other things. Like I'm actually doing an upcoming show in Toronto, December 7th. It's called Raw Artists. Echo is the name of the show, and it's got.
I've heard of Raw Artists. Do they do it at the
Yeah, they travel.
Ontario Center? Sorry, am I saying it right? The art exhibit, or no?
They're doing it this year at Parkdale Hall.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's like they've got like music, photography, film, fashion show, beauty. Like it's not just a typical like vendor art show. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it caters to a lot, like a wide range of people, which is really awesome. So I'm really excited to be doing this one because I haven't done an art show in a while.
Oh.
So
Well, you've done
yeah.
it before, just not in a while.
No, I haven't done this one. I've done like other
Mm.
art shows, but I haven't done raw artists, and I've been wanting to do it because they reached out to me specifically to get in.
Uh,
So yeah,
that's fun.
yeah, I'm excited.
Going back to like your art stuff, like what do you think like the future or next steps would be for like
What
art
the
by Ju?
future holds for Art by Juju.
Yeah, or like what like I know like people have ideas and they things get changed and stuff, but like if you could get to a destination, what would you pick with
I
that?
would. So I'm gonna touch on like two different things here because I live life like now so different than like the old Julie. You know what I mean? Like we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. You know the drill. But like
Yeah.
anyway, I feel like I'm taking it day by day, and what is meant to be will be. Like I know that sounds super cliche because everyone says that, but like it's very true to me because I don't like I didn't expect to be a bridal stylist. You know what I mean? Like I went into that
Yeah.
appointment and then that's what it came for me and I love it. And it's something I'm very good at and I really really enjoy what I'm doing aside with like having to still do my art, and it led me into doing more with my art. Like I actually like sold like 20 coasters recently because
Oh
I
yeah.
painted like Christmas
Love that.
coasters and people were
Yeah.
driving to my house
Oh.
doing them. So it's really like, and I get bored quickly, so I like to have different things on the go with like art, and switching it up. But if I could say like an end goal would be to one day have my own art exhibit. Like I think that would be really really cool. Like I have ideas, if let's say money is never an issue, and or I
Would be
win the lottery
amazing.
one day, like let's pray on it. But
Yeah.
I would do something really, really dope in Toronto for sure. Like to start in Toronto to have like an art gallery. You know, I think
I
that would
love
be
that.
really, really cool because like I'm working with like bigger canvases now too, and like once you start
Mm.
working your way up to the big canvases, you don't want to go back down to the small ones.
Oh no,
So,
100%.
but yeah,
It's probably difficult, no, getting it like starting with like a piece of paper and then like
yeah. I
reaching a
mean,
little short Jew.
I kind of just go like I usually go on Pinterest and get inspired, and I sometimes work with like 5 to like 10 different images, and then my brain meshes things up together, and then I go, and I used to.
Freestyle kind of.
Pardon?
Do you freestyle kind of within like the
Yeah, like
guidelines of your brain?
yeah, and like I really
Yeah.
excel in doing like body art, like
Mm.
so I really like doing that. So I really love it and it works for me. And I was in a gallery in Paris. So, and let me say Paris, Ontario. I like saying Paris and not saying anything, but
The
I'm
fact
not
that there's a
gonna.
Paris in Ontario is
I
just a lot
know.
for
I'm
me.
always like, I'm in a art gallery in Paris, and then I just wait,
Paris,
and people
where
are
you're like,
like, yeah. People are like, no
they see,
way. I'm like,
they see
yeah.
the farmland.
Shut up.
You're like, just look to your left. You won't see anything, but close your eyes.
Yeah, where's the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah.
But
Well, you paint that and bring it there.
yeah, it's fine. But anyway, it's still really cool. Like that was a big moment for me to even get into an art gallery because I was like just doing it at the time just for myself, and then I got reached out to, and they were like, "Bring in your art." And it was cool. I sold some pieces. But yeah, like to touch on more of my art, during COVID was when it really took off for me because
I bet.
people like I was like selling overseas, like to Mexico,
Oh,
to
really?
Australia. Yeah,
Come
and
on.
people were like driving to pick up like with their masks on. Like I would frisbee the canvas. No, I'm kidding. I would literally
There's
leave
no
the
deposit.
right. But like I would literally like people were making a drive from like 2 hours away, 3 hours away to like come pick up their canvases, but they also
That's
had the
great. I
time.
love
So
that.
it was booming. I feel like it's weird because for some businesses it wasn't good for COVID, like during COVID, but then
I
other
don't know.
businesses started booming, right? Like people created now like world renowned businesses that are doing super well. So, but yeah, so that's been the journey so far with
I love
Juju.
that. Um, Well, you speaking about COVID, like of course that was like really pivotal for some people in good and bad ways. We don't need to talk about exactly for you.
Hmm.
Um, you did go through something. How was the challenge of looking at the world through a different lens?
Looking at the world through a different lens, like I don't know, like I don't want to touch
Was it
too much.
emotional? Was it? We don't need to talk about it, but like just
It was
for
hard. Like it was
yeah,
it was very difficult because I didn't feel like myself. So
yeah,
when I didn't have moments that brought me back to me, like that was like the hardest thing, because I was just like not me mentally, and I didn't
yeah.
feel like myself. I didn't even look like myself. Like I was like I just felt like when you look in the mirror and you can't see you can't
Imposter
find
syndrome a
yourself.
little bit.
Pardon?
Imposter syndrome. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it really played on my mental. Like it wasn't a good time for me, and I never felt like I needed to like share about it or post anything about it. I just reached out to like my close friends and said like I'm taking a break, and like just if you don't hear from me, that just know like I'll be okay.
It's
But
nice that you gave them that.
yeah, I mean, people were reaching out to me, but like I literally like I don't even know if you remember, but like I was like a ghost on social media for a whole year. Like I did not post at all.
Kind
Like
of.
I think I like
Yeah.
I I did like a little bit of my art stuff posting because I was doing some art shows and like I had some people come and support me, which was really awesome. But
Hmm.
yeah, needless to say, like it was just an eye opener in ways where I was like, wow, the world is so not what I thought, like just very
Yeah.
different. Even like connecting spiritually, like I just felt like now I'm like connected more, like I feel like the connection more to the universe and like my loved ones, and like I feel that, a lot. And I'm Catholic and I believe in God, but I also feel like there is like a higher power, whether
100%.
that be whatever you want to think it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like it really changed my perspective on life. And I also feel like as I'm getting older, I just kind of want to like settle down and like tone it down. I don't want to go out as much. I'm my friends call me a nana. Like I like drinking my tea, taking a bath and
Nanas are
relaxing.
great. Cook some
Yeah,
food, little wine, in bed at 9 p.m.
I don't drink wine.
Oh no.
I'm Italian, but I don't drink wine. I'm
Drink
like
wine. No, it's
I
okay.
just started liking coffee, so maybe eventually I'll like a little vino, but like I only
Yeah.
like it. It's funny because my family will make fun of me because like during Christmas time I'll do a little bit of red wine, but I'll literally dunk like a whole 7 Up in it, and so it just looks like
Sangria.
yeah, so it just looks like the color and it looks like I'm drinking wine, but really
Yeah.
it tastes
And
like
everyone just shuts up and lets you drink.
yeah. I mean, it still affects me in some ways, but like I just I don't know. I'm not like
That's when Juju comes out.
yeah, juju. I just don't like drinking really, So I
Yeah,
just
I get it.
I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, no, I get
But
it.
yeah.
That experience that you had with just like changing the world and stuff, did you notice things about yourself that were outside of you versus in you
Yeah,
that are true to
100%.
yourself?
Yeah.
How was that like? How was that coming to terms with seeing that and being like,
It was
I'm
scary.
assuming it was like, whoa, like
Honestly,
what
it
the
was
fuck?
scary because what I went through was something I never thought even existed in life. Like for anyone, like it. I say mental health, but it was like a little bit more bigger than that. Like, um, I don't even remember what the thing
If you
was
want,
called, but
off camera, we can talk about it because I kind of have some experiences too. But
yeah, I'm
anyways,
down. But let's do that off camera.
yeah, man. Just
I said scoop, no.
we'll be back.
Yeah, in
Intermission.
round two. Bye, guys.
Yeah. I bet it was difficult, especially like for me, dance was such a big part of my world. So I went through something where it was just like one, I'm a busybody. I hated being just stuck at home doing nothing. So I was
Oh
just
yeah,
going to my dance studio and just like, what can I do? Like I'm not really a guy who just puts the camera down and takes videos like that. I wasn't really like a TikToker, but
oh
like I
my
like
god,
creating. So
same.
I'm like, let me just I don't know what to do. Like let me just I guess create like what to do. So I just put my phone down, find a song, just try to create something, get my mind going. And like I
Mhm.
remember like trying to do stuff and nothing was working. That was just one
Yeah.
point where I was just like, what am I doing this for? That's
Right.
why another reason why like I drifted off and not teaching, because I was just like, what am I doing this for? This is not.
What's the
It's been a
purpose?
slow, slightly heart wrenching process, but like it's been so difficult to be like, what? This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, I
You know,
can
and I
relate to
hated
that
that.
too because I actually like at our old house because my parents moved twice. So at
Mm.
our old house, I had a dance studio downstairs. So at first during COVID, like I was like, this is awesome because like I was booming. Like I literally was like learning Bobby Newberry's videos
No.
and like doing them again. Like I loved it because I was always on the go go go. Like I was teaching
Yeah.
in China. We went to Italy. We were gonna have a
Oh my
family
god,
trip.
yes, that. We need to talk about that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but like,
sorry.
yeah. So I had a moment to actually like a downtime moment, but I wasn't used to downtime. So I was still going, going, going. Like I would stay up till 3, 4 a.m. and paint, you know? And but during the day, I would be busy learning choreo in my dance studio downstairs and making videos. And like I was always like I had a full schedule already, you know? Until it like
We are
hit.
two different people. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're like, how did you do that? We should have FaceTimed and I should have taught you choreo.
You would have been my savior. I wouldn't be here right now.
I
Oh
lived,
my
no, like I
god.
was
No, that's.
thriving.
I tried doing that. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like, I was a big smoker back then. I was
Okay.
smoking, FaceTiming my friends. I just wanted to talk to people. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to create, but like, I was like having wine, just fooling around, making stupid like videos. You know, all those
Yeah.
voiceovers, like the Kardashians. Like,
Yeah.
you remember Ariana?
Yeah.
Ariana Baldessera. So she would send her side of it, then I would do mine, and then I would edit it on my professional
And so it's like
software
together,
and
right? Yeah.
splice it together. Yeah, like that's what I was doing.
Oh my
You know?
god, you guys, I can't.
Yeah, but like
But
that
you
was
know what?
I.
That was still fun. Like for you, you were like, I'm gonna create in other ways where I was just like, I've never done this, but I'm still gonna do something fun and still creative. You know what I mean? You weren't just like sitting doing nothing.
Yes,
But
but the big lesson of that was creating just to create because I was losing that and I didn't have that anymore.
mm,
Where I wanted to create because like, oh, this was good, I like it. Like it was like, what's the destination? It became very
okay,
materialistic in a way. Where
yeah.
it's like, where am I going with this? I couldn't have sight of that, so that's when my creativity was always there, but that's when my brain was like just shutting off. Cause I'm like, what's the point? Just do something else, you know. But
I
that's
mean, yeah.
another
Also, the
thing in
smoking
itself.
probably didn't help. But I mean,
In ways, it yes and no. It's just the excessiveness of it was a lot.
yeah.
But anyways, China. I remember this, and you had a crew. You had a setup. Everyone loved you there. At
It
least
was
that's what it looked
so
like from
cool.
overseas. But like you walked in, they went, "Zhu, who's they? You were the girl for them, 100%.
So
How was that?
it was so cool. So that was, I believe, 2018 when I went,
Yes, I
and
think I remember that because you were doing
I
Millennium in Toronto,
yes.
right?
So for like to clear
How
this
did you get into
up,
that?
yeah, to clear this up because people
Yeah.
kept thinking, "Oh my God, Millennium Toronto brought you there," but that wasn't the case because I was
Okay.
still teaching at Millennium Dance Complex in Toronto, and you know classes were struggling. It wasn't doing the best. It was really hard, and like we were trying to pick it up, right? Because like I
Hmm.
remember people messaging me being like, "I'm scared to take your class. Like it's so advanced," and I'm like, "Just come through. You're gonna have a fun time regardless." Like
Like
I
shut
break
up,
it
just come,
down, you know. I'm like, "Just come."
go.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so one of my friends, Nick Todd, was living in China, and
Okay.
I don't know if you know him, but he's a dancer as well, and he used to
I feel
do
like I've
like,
seen it on Instagram, but like,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. Anyway, I used to do conventions with him and stuff too. So like we go way back, and he was like, "Hey, I'm like living in China, like Beijing and like Shanghai, and he's like, there's a Millennium out here. Do you want me to see if like we can work out where you could come teach her?" And I was like, "Yeah, like
Yeah.
hello."
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
I went there for 3 weeks, all expenses paid. It was an amazing trip, like culture shock to a
Like, you can't
T
turn that
first.
down. You can't turn that down.
No,
All
no, no.
paid, like you're doing your thing, teaching. Like
No, like
you
per
can't take it
diem,
down.
everything, you know what I mean? Like it was so
Okay.
cool. The only thing I would say about China, like it is culture shock if you've never been there, because I was just like a little whoa for certain things.
Yeah.
But like me
Where in
being,
China?
I was in Beijing, and then
Oh,
I
Beijing. Sorry.
taught, I
Yeah.
think it was for a week in Shanghai, which Shanghai is more modern, like
Yeah, I was gonna
upscale, like
say.
it's very, very beautiful. Beijing, where I was a little bit more like grungy, but it was still really cool.
Traditional.
Yeah, more. I would say. I wouldn't
And
say grungy. I
architecture.
would say traditional. Yeah, let's cut that out.
Grungy.
But more traditional. But I got to like ride a bike to get to the studio. Like I literally did everything. So Uber's there is called DDs, and like it's like like DIDI, like take a DD, and it was really cool because the people that I met there were like paying for my DDs as like welcome, like a thank you, thank you for teaching, and like they would.
So you're just living the pampered life over there.
I was just like, this is crazy. Are you sure? Like, are you, I'm okay to like pay.
You're like,
for
are you
my
sure
stuff?
getting in the car?
Yeah, I'm like, are you sure?
You sure?
You already know. But it was really, really cool. And I remember it was so hot there though, Dan. Like I literally rode a bike to get to Millennium the one time to teach, because I would teach 1 to 2 classes a night. So I'd have the day to explore. But I was like sweating on the bike to get there. Like I was like, oof, you know? Yeah. But then there was a bubble tea spot right next to where I was teaching at the Millennium. So I was there every day. People know my bubble tea is important to me. But yeah.
That's so funny.
So it was interesting. It was cool to go like experience and go on the tours and stuff like that and just see, because it was like when it was 3 a.m. here, it was 3 p.m. there, right? So, and that flight was like 12 and a half hours. I did not sleep the whole time. I do not sleep on planes because I get scared. So I literally had 2 water bottles the whole time. I looked over, everyone's like mouth open, sleeping. Like I was like, great. And then I watched one movie and listened to music the entire time and created choreo in my head. So
love that.
Yeah.
For 12 hours.
12 and a half. Don't forget the half.
I hate flights like that.
Yeah, like
the longest flight I've been on is like 5 hours, and that was to LA, or maybe coming back. But like, that's the part. I'm like,
it's still long, no? Like 5 hours is still a long time.
No, it's a long time.
So
that's great though. That's so cool that you got to like experience that, especially like in a different setting with
by myself too. Like
by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I would thrive.
Yeah, I think
would come back like not different, but like I just would have done random things and be okay because like it's just me.
Well, I mean, I went to like 20 different malls there, and it was hype. But I like shopping. But
where are you going? To the mall.
Just to the mall. It's fine. I'm not going to see like the Great Wall of China. I'm going to the mall.
Honestly, I would have went to go see that for sure.
I
went to the mall once and then that.
No, I wanted to, but
I
it
like
was
history in a way.
I know. I really wanted to, but it was like an hour and a half away. No one else wanted to come with me, and I was like, I don't really want to take a DD for an hour and a half by myself, an hour and a half back. You know what I mean? So, but I saw a lot of other like really cool things. So, yeah, it was an experience.
That's so exciting. If you were given the chance to go back, would you go back?
They actually wanted me to come back for Asia camp, and then COVID happened. So it like. COVID hit like a lot of things, you know what I mean? So
we know
it is what it is. But I would. But
I'm saying now, like if you would.
I would go back, yeah, but I wouldn't want to be alone there the whole time. I would want a travel buddy.
And you have a buddy.
Hello, you want to come?
No, your boyfriend, not me. I mean, I'll come if you want, but
I thought you were saying you have a buddy, me. Yes, my boyfriend would come and assist me, and probably teach too.
So how did you guys meet?
We
Is that
actually
like a Tinder app situation.
No.
Lucky.
Not that I have anything against those apps, but I mean, I kind of do. I always thought I never should be on those apps because I was just like, what am I doing with myself? But
it's different for straight people than it is for gay people.
I know. Trust me.
Like that's our thing for other like. I remember like Selena would talk about it. She would never want to go on it. I'm like, just get the apps. Even like my other friends, they wouldn't get on the apps. I had like one friend that would be on it like 24/7. But like my friends never wanted the app.
What's that other one that was good? It's called H. Something with an H. Hinge. There you go. Yeah. I was on Hinge.
One's not bad.
I had Tinder for a bit and then I deleted it because I was like, oof, I didn't love it. And then I just feel like it's like a
Hinge is more personal.
Yeah, Hinge was more personal.
In a way.
You had like a little like slogans and little things about you, yellow prompts. Yeah, it was really it was different. But I mean, I went on a couple dates and whatever, but nothing really stuck. Like my whole dating, like if we could talk a little bit about my whole dating
Yeah.
like lifestyle was like I never really made time for anyone, to be honest, unless I really felt like okay, like I could see a future with someone. Like I'm not just someone personally to like date around or have fun, if you will. Like I like something that's going somewhere, you know. So
Purposeful.
purposeful, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And like I just know
I agree.
I wasn't the type to just like, as we say, hit it and quit it, you know. So that didn't really work for me. So I was like, nope.
Yeah.
But I met my boyfriend, who now we're almost in at 11 months together. So, but
Crazy. Time flies, no?
yeah, but I met him on set Disney Zombies, and like
Oh, okay.
we worked together. Like I think I saw him briefly during the second movie, but he wasn't
Oh,
on like in the second movie. He was on in the third movie, so like that's when we more so connected. But it was just like a little flirtatious thing, a little playful kind of fun
yeah.
at first, and then it never became anything
What was the
until
time frame from you meeting to dating? How long was that?
oh pretty long. So
Yeah,
probably like two
2 years.
2 years, I would say. Yeah,
No.
because I guess I'll tell the story. He like added me on Snapchat. This was 11 months ago, right? And like he was like, "Are you into me or am I delusional?" you
So
know? And I was like, "Yeah, I'm into you." So
just rip the cord.
yeah, I'm saying it.
Rip
We don't
it.
have to keep this if you don't want to. You might be like, "Really?" but
Yeah.
it's okay. It's cute, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then he asked me out on like actually no, we spoke on the phone like every night for about like 5 hours for like a couple weeks, and then we had our first date, and it was like magical. Like it was literally like
Oh,
a
love that.
crazy connection right off the bat. Like I was like, why am I so PDA? Like, am I like this? Like like I learned a lot about myself
A
and
chakra
still
was opened.
yeah, I was like, whoa, what's happening? but
That's
nah,
funny.
he's a sweetheart. He has a kind heart, and
No.
he's my guy. So he's actually in Mexico right now with Cirque du Soleil, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
awesome. So yeah,
Is he? I saw. Is he in the military?
yes,
No.
he's in
Oh, he
the
is.
military. He's in like Army Reserve. Uh,
So what's that? Because I have no idea. I probably
so
people don't
I mean,
know.
I'm not gonna say too much because I'm still learning about everything, and I don't
Okay.
want to say the
Like
wrong thing.
whatever you get from it, like what is
But
it basically? What they do?
so he's with the Royal Canadian Regiment and he's with Army Reserve. So it's not like they own you, like you're not full time. So it's like part time, if you will. Like if you wanted to like think of it as like a full time job or a part time job, it's
Mm,
more part time.
yeah.
So he's not there every
Oh,
day, but it's very honorable that he's like in the army, and it's insane because his brother actually went to war in Afghanistan.
oh really?
Yeah. So, and like I know he wants to go on deployment at least once. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I
I
don't
know
even know.
it's
Like,
different.
kudos to them, but like I just the thought of that, I'm like, I don't have that in me to do that. Not to not help people, but
I know
like
what you
just
mean.
even like,
Yeah,
how do
it's
you
tough.
what?
It
How was
takes
that
a
for you?
lot.
Because like you thinking about that, I know your mind could probably go places, but just the thought of your boyfriend being in something like that, like what?
It makes me like automatically. I'm an emotional person, so it makes me feel
Just
like super like like
yeah, yeah,
super sad. But at the end of the day, it's like you're serving for the country. You know what I mean? And you're like protecting, and you're doing something so honorable, right? Like you come back with a medal and just like honor, right? Like and people look up to you, and you've helped, you know what I mean, in ways where other people can't. So
yeah,
um I now understand that more so than in the beginning because I was like, oh my gosh, you're in the army. And right away, I think, like, what if he were to go and then not come back, you know? And like, that's where my thought process was at
yeah.
first. And
That's natural.
it is, yeah, it's natural, right? And that's what people think, like, oh my God, would you be okay, you know? But it's like, you're not like technically okay, but you're like, you see how strong you are too if that was the
You're like on
case.
the scale from really bad to really good. It's more good than bad.
Well, there's different ways,
Huh.
like when they go. Well, no, when they go
You're like,
to. No, no, no. I mean, so like, no, it is good, but like when they go like to war, sometimes it's just like peacekeeping, so they don't actually have to be like
okay.
in the heart of the war. You know what I mean? It really just depends
I
what's
think that's
going
good for
on.
people to know because if you think you're getting sent off, I know there's different areas to work in, but like
Hmm.
you pretty much just think you're like thrown in the trenches and
Yeah, like people
just
think when
jump.
you're going to war, you're like right in the like dead center heart of it. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
eye of the hurricane. Like you're not. It's that's not the case all the time. Like sometimes you go on deployment and you're peacekeeping and you're training other soldiers. You know, so it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning everything. Like
Oh, I bet.
I don't know everything, and I hope what I'm
Yeah.
saying is right, but I think it is from what I know so far. But yeah, he's a little sweet pea, and we're actually doing the couples dance lessons together too. So if anyone needs
Yeah.
lessons, let me know. But
I'll add your handles to the video for sure.
that would be really cool. Yeah, so down.
Are you? I'm gonna ask like a few questions about this stuff, but like, are you into like astrology and
I
all those
used to
things?
be. I used to have the CoStar app until I like started following it to a T, to the point where it was
Mm.
like, cut your hair today, and I went for a haircut, and I was like, okay, let's delete it. Like I literally was.
Julie,
I know.
you're in the bathroom crying, and your mom's like, "What, Ju? What's
My
going on?
my
I have to
co-star
cut my
says
hair."
cry. No, I
You're
just
like mid. Oops. You're
oh
like mid cut.
I was like no. Actually, I had it was weird
Oh,
that I like oddly enough had a haircut that day, and then like I saw the co-star thing, and it said like you're gonna get a haircut. Like it was just like weird things that were just like freaky to me. So I just deleted it, and I was like, this is not for me, you know.
yeah. I mean,
But
maybe go to a professional, but definitely not the co-star.
shut up.
Because
I don't know.
I had the co-star thing too, and I was just like, I would see. I only got it so I could look at the charts. I go to a professional astrologer.
Mm,
I talk to
okay,
her and call her, so that's
that's
my world.
cool.
But I did have co-star, but I'm like, this is not. I need someone to talk to who understands it and can actually do the chart for me and knows me and can like splice things together because everything's so nuanced and faceted that's so different but at the same. So when you like there's certain things like in your charts when you have like a Mercury in a certain house with a certain sign, like it gives a general reading of it. My astrologer will give that same thing, but there's more deeper meaning to it because
More
she can see the
detail
chart.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
cuz
can add two and two together. You know.
okay, that makes sense cuz I'm remembering of like what the app looks like now and like with the houses and all that stuff. Like I didn't understand
Yeah.
everything, but when people are like, "Oh, you're a Virgo," I can tell, but like I was like, I think I'm a Virgo and then Cancer rising. So,
Oh,
it's like
so you're a rising Cancer, a Virgo Sun, and a Virgo Moon.
yes.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
What are you?
Because you're like let me explain first. So your rising sign is how you're perceived as to people. So
Okay.
how you are. So the way I see you is you're a Cancer. Your
Mm.
personality is your sun sign, which is like how you are day to day and whatnot, and your moon is like your emotions and who you are to yourself. So you're a Virgo on top of that.
Okay.
For me, I'm a Leo rising, I'm a Gemini sun, and a Taurus moon.
Whoa.
So like you hear a lot about Leos being like
Like
center of
fiery
attention. Like I'm not saying I try to be like that, but naturally I get like that because that's just my natural being. Like I'm a Leo rising, so like that's I just anywhere I walk into, I'll have that perception of being the
okay.
Leo, walking in, presenting. Even if I don't want to be, I'll just do it naturally
Confident.
because that's just who I am. And then
Yeah.
I'm a Taurus moon, so like very Earth. I need my stability. Need this and that. This doesn't make sense. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, my
a lot
sister's
of
a
people don't
Taurus,
get
so
that. That's why they're like not into astrology. It's like no, there's more to it. Like you can't just like
I
you can't just
mean,
like look at your app that says cut your hair and think like the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
no,
But some
I
people
know.
do that.
I know. I mean, like that was a weird time in my life too, like getting into like when I was going through my mental health stuff too. So I was
Like
like,
different occult stuff, you would say.
yeah, kind of. Like it was just like
Yeah.
not great. But anyway, I feel like it is different and like astrology like do you feel like cuz that still has like a connection like to the universe with the stars and like like seeing all like the the stars above, like the Capricorn or
Mhm.
like the little, you know what I mean? So is that like what's I don't know like how it works. Like what is the meaning of all of that, you know?
It's basically just the study of the stars, and then as time has gone on, people notice different correlations between, oh, like being under the sun, having your moon here, and then obviously when we got smarter as like a collective, like people were able to see, oh, we have more planets over there, and like collecting more data, and then seeing how it relates. And this also goes back to like religions and
Mm,
what's it called? Religions and like Greek, like
yeah,
all the history,
mythology.
all that mythology. Sorry,
Yeah.
all those things. Like everything makes sense, but like the thing is, once you take something and humanize it, it becomes not what it is. Because once you add meaning to something, you can change the outcome of it. Like yes, we there's a lot of relation to like mythology and the stars, but like the Greeks did it more so that it pertains to their agenda. I would
Mm,
say, you know, like
okay.
back, I sound like a historian, but back in the day, like they knew when there was an eclipse, they would tell the people, like, if you don't do this, we're gonna take away the sun from you, and then the sun would come and hit them, and they're like, ah,
Oh
and
my
then they
god.
would follow suit because, like, how did they do that? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's so interesting, but like it just
That's
even
very
like religion,
interesting.
like I'm Catholic too. There's truth in things, and there's things that they lie to us about. That's just my perspective.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the same
there's
thing.
different worlds.
It's the same thing like you said with Catholic, like being Catholic. It's just like I don't agree with like I don't believe, I don't say I don't agree. I don't believe with everything like by the book, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But there are things like you said that is are true and that maybe are not, you know? So it is more like maybe a cult if we want to say, but
Yeah,
yeah. But
I believe that Jesus is real. He, if I could get into it, there's a certain time. I'm not like too familiar with the Bible and stuff, but there's a certain time frame where it stops talking about him, and there's like a few years, and then he comes back when he's 30, and then he's walking down with the. I don't know if you remember that. And he comes back to
like the
Jerusalem on the
resurrection,
donkey. No, no, no. Before that, when he comes back.
I don't remember it all.
So there's a big
Also,
time frame where they don't talk about his life, and he went to like Egypt, he went to India, he went to like different places of the world to learn different um, concepts. And basically, what I believe is that Christ was real, but he was teaching Christ's consciousness, consciousness.
consciousness.
That Christ consciousness. I can't even say it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yes, he was. What I
Yeah.
believe is he was giving us information. He wasn't the being, he was giving information. And people believed him because it was a hopeful thing. You know, and like obviously a few years later, the Bible gets written into what it gets written into. There's truth in it, but there's also like some other things that just, again, goes with their agenda and how they want the story to go. But that's with
Yeah.
everyone. Like
I
people, you
mean,
know, the Celtics, Spanish, the Romans, the you know, everyone. It's all different. So it's like once you start getting into that world, that's another reason why like I was just like, whoa, I couldn't. I was taking so much information, learning all these things, and I'm like, where do I go from here? Like nothing's real.
yeah, because then you
But
like
it
get in
is, you
your
know.
you get in like a spiral of being like, oh my gosh, what's real, what's not, right? So
It was just like sensory overload. Imagine sitting in a room. There's four big screens, and you have to look at all of them. You're like, I can't.
yeah, you're
Which one is
like
it? What movie are we watching? You know what I mean? That's what it felt
yeah,
like. I love it. It gets overwhelming, but
yeah,
that's just my perception of it. That's why I like ask about astrology and stuff because like it's very there's some truth to it. It's not like you have to follow it. I think that's the hard thing people have because people really need a religion to be that's something that's like stable because like religion like there's certain I want to say rules but there's certain things to it that's okay if you follow this you'll be good if
mm-hmm.
I'm doing all these things like it calms your mind because like well I did this and that like I'm
Like
good
laws,
you know
kind of almost,
yeah
right?
kind of in a way with spirituality it's like here's your option you don't have to do it you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? What do you mean I don't have to do it? It's like if you
Mm-hmm.
follow your blueprint, like this will lead to the most successful version of yourself. But there's different versions of yourself, and then oh, your path changes.
Yeah.
oh, if things can change. Like, it's just like, what do you mean? So
Yeah.
then people go to religion. They're like, I don't want to deal with that. Let me do
I
that.
mean,
So it
big
drives me
on like,
crazy, but
yeah.
you
If
know.
I can like touch on like paths changing, like I'm kind of gonna redirect a little bit, but like
Hmm.
my whole life being a dancer, like I literally thought, okay, I'm gonna get to LA. LA is gonna be the end zone for me. You know, that's gonna be where I'm gonna be because going to these conventions and traveling and showing face, people were like, when are you getting to LA? You know, and like, and they would say it, but like it's such a hard thing to do. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
even just like being prepared mentally, you know, like being in the right state of mind to
Culture.
take on everything that you want to when you're there because it is a different lifestyle, right? And
Yeah.
also not only like your visa process, like that's a huge thing to do it, and I did that twice and it didn't work
Mm,
out for me, so
no.
that was like a huge
That would
redirection in
really that would really hit you in a way for
yes,
sure.
trust me, like, and I really, and I'm sure people can relate to that too, but like it really hit me just because I was like, wow, like I thought that was supposed to be my path. Like, why? You know, like I had everything that I needed. You know, like Brian Freeman had written a hand letter for me. Like I had a bunch of like reference letters and like
You did
deal
all the
memo,
right
like
steps.
all the right stuff. You know,
Yeah.
so I was just like, why? You know, and like it's just it's not your path, it's not your path, right? So
Yeah,
whatever
I
is
know.
meant to be will be. That's going back to that, and I truly believe I'm like in the right space now where I'm supposed to be. So
That's
yeah.
good. In that moment of like that defeat, did you question like, is that your path? Like, I know it might take you a while to like get to that point, but like in that moment where you're just like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Like,
Yeah,
did you
I
find yourself
questioned.
outside of yourself being like, is this what I'm supposed to do? I want to
I
do it, but like,
yeah.
is that what I want to do, or is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, that's actually really hard. Like I questioned it a lot for sure. Like being like, okay, like is this what I really want? Actually during COVID after like doing so much and like I told you when I was running around doing all this
Structured.
that just like
Yeah.
yeah, going crazy with everything like in a good way. Really hit me because I was talking to a lot of friends out in LA and they were like, it's not what you think, girl. Like, you know, like we're even struggling. So like who's to say when you come out here you're gonna make it, you know, like you, and what does that even mean, making it, right? That's a different perspective for everyone.
Yeah.
So because like the visa, as you know, is only good for 3 years, right? So then you have to make sure you
And you
have
can
work
only work in your field. I heard.
only in your field, so
That's
like
crazy.
you
You can't
can't
even get
get
another job.
you can't get another job if you're not working. Then like what do? You know what I mean? So that
That's
whole
crazy.
starving artist thing like becomes real, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely think, you know, like I said, my path is my path for a reason. I'm meant to be where I am now, and maybe it worked out for the best that I wasn't supposed to be in LA, you know?
Mm, yeah.
So I just, or maybe that's what I've accepted, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's,
If I can add to that on a like a spiritual way of thinking, what I've learned through this process of like astrology and stuff. I don't. Do you believe in past lives?
yes.
So when you're born with your rising sign, that's what you are in your past life. So in my best way to explain it, in my past life, I was a Leo. When you get to the end of your life, you complete the cycle of being a Leo. So when I'm born into this lifetime, right when I come out of there, I'm a Leo. So at the end of my lifetime, I'll be a Gemini. So like right now, I'm not fully a Gemini.
Oh,
You aren't fully a Leo. You have the energy of a Cancer trying to navigate becoming a Virgo.
mm-hmm.
With that being said, you have an energy of your past life that you've known and you're trying to integrate in this lifetime, and this lifetime is saying no, that's an old lifetime. We have to figure out this lifetime. And that, I think, for me is so difficult because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
need to do this. I don't need to take myself in this direction of trying to figure out what it is. But I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? This is not a past. Like, what is this lifetime? Who are these people?
Is
You know?
that then like finding your soul purpose in this lifetime? Like, does that kind of go hand in hand with that, would you say?
I think, well, your sole purpose is to be what they believe is you're supposed to become a Gemini or Virgo. You're supposed to become your sun sign. So whatever that entails you doing, it's different for everybody.
Hmm.
So it's very
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's
Because then,
cool
like,
that
I
you
think, like, sorry, what were you saying?
no, it's cool that you see like an astrologer, right? Like you see
Yeah.
someone just to like put it into different perspectives for you that make more sense, that are more in depth and hit like certain things that you'll connect to, right? Because you'll probably be in those meetings and be like, oh, whoa, like that was weird because last week, da da da, or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So
it changes.
it changes, but it's like, do you feel also like, if I can ask some questions, do you
Yeah.
feel like you have the power to change your path, even if like for me, for instance, I thought I was supposed to be in LA, right? Like I thought that was my path, but like I didn't choose to redirect to do something else. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of what happened. So like do you feel like you can have the power to change it, or you can like try and try and try, but even if it's not meant for you, like the universe will kind of show what you're supposed to be or where you're supposed
Mm.
to be?
You, I believe you don't have the free will to change your life path. You have the free will to say yes or no to things.
Mm, okay, that makes sense.
Also, the way that I explained about learning to become a Gemini, you're learning as you go. So it doesn't, once you open yourself to a world like this and open your mind to like yourself, it's constantly learning. So like, yeah, I can make decisions on my past to some sort of extent. If I keep making decisions on my past, I'm just going to be in that same cycle over and over again.
Mm,
Because like
that
I'm
makes
trying to,
sense. So you're not growing out of that cycle if you're still trying
yeah,
to like figure it out, right?
yeah,
So
and like I've been the type to like read manifestation books and do the writing and everything. Me, how I say it, you'll get those things, but it's not because you manifested it. It's just like putting it to paper, saying, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be what my life is." Just you
mhm.
don't know the direction how it gets there, which is the hard part for me.
Yeah. No,
It
I
depends on your past life though, what you went through and who you, um,
interacted
like what
with
you
like
did and how what your life was. It's gonna be completely opposite to this one. So that's why I find myself doing things. I'm like, this makes no sense. I don't get this. For some sort of reason, it seems like the right thing to do, but around me, it doesn't make sense. So like, what's going on? And I have to learn that what this life brings me, and like just decide when and where to put myself.
do you always go with like your gut feelings for things? Because I feel like my intuition is very strong, that I'll be like, no, this isn't right for me, or yes, this makes sense?
I Majority of the time, yes, I still have a gut. I have a gut.
You have a gut.
I don't know if you had a gut.
Stop.
um, I've said this to her and said this to myself. Like I have a very hard time sometimes figuring out if it's a gut feeling or I put it in my brain and now my body's just reacting to it. I don't know
Mm.
if that makes sense.
So like
You
you
know what I
don't
mean?
know
Like
if it's like
majority of the time I'm like, oh no, this is right. Sometimes if it's a really hard decision, usually when it comes down to a really hard decision for me, if that's how I'm feeling, like I don't know if it's my gut feeling, it's because I'm learning something new and I
mm-hmm.
don't get it. And it's not gonna be, or it's like something that happened in my past life that's happening during around this time and I need to approach it a different way.
Yeah, that makes
I'll
sense.
never know if it is. I don't know if it's the right decision, but I'll have to either deal with the consequences later, or I made the right decision, and what's next?
You still
That's
have
the
to
that's the
navigate.
hardest part for me,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks because I want to know everything and anything because I want to be secure, and I want to, you know what I mean? Everyone wants that, but for me, I want that so much, and then when I start trying to control everything and do everything, that's when things fall apart, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you have to kind of surrender so that you don't have
so hard,
control. It sucks,
so
but
hard.
it's true though, because like I find I used to be like on the ball with everything, like the way you're explaining how you are, and it showed that it didn't matter what I did for it, like for that to work out, or if I wanted it to be a certain way, life would still throw curveballs, and this would still
Yeah.
happen regardless if I wanted it to or not, and it is what it is. So you just have to accept and just be, you know?
Yeah. I even like me thinking about it, I'm thinking, why am I thinking? Just chill. It's like, what am I surrendering to? Like, what, you know what I mean? Am I surrendering my ego? Am I surrendering what I want to be? Like, sometimes it gets to that for me. I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes for me, I'm just like, what am I surrendering to?
Yeah.
But I'm losing my grip.
I would say, like, for me, like, it's surrendering to not like the universe, but just allowing what's meant to happen organically and naturally, you know? Because
we
really,
don't
like,
truly know what we're gonna get in life. That's the hardest part.
It's a surprise every day you wake up. But I do like to say, like, every day, I like to say this a lot, actually, to, like, close friends of mine, people that mean a lot to me. I'm like, just reminders. I say every day is a new beginning. You know, you get a new chance when you wake up to do what you want to do. Like, it's never too late in life to start again. You know what I mean? Like, you're reborn every day. So. And
that experience is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. Exactly. Amen.
I got it. Amen. Ju, honestly, it was so great connecting. It's been a long, long time of not seeing you, so it was nice to connect. Tell us where we can find you at with your company, Instagram, where you work. If you want to add any of that, you can let them know.
Yeah, so my personal handle is Julie Tamilia, and my art handle is art by JU13. And then, not me doing this. Then, I'm like writing
like the Disney?
I'm like, art
the
by And then Mobijou Bride is where I work. So it's MONBIJOU. And Jules Bridal Shoes is, it says speaks for itself. So there you go.
Perfect. Well, you guys can find her on there. Ju, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.